The story starts with spending a year in Iraq as a contractor. I went over there to work in the Army Post Office, and a big part of my job was to inspect outgoing mail to make sure no soldiers or other Marines or sailors were sending home something that they weren't supposed to. While I was digging through a lot of young men and women's footlockers, I saw that a lot of these young men and women were mailing home their Purple Heart medals. And it really got to me right here. I often thought that I'd like to be able to do something for these men and women. Luckily for me, I grew up in Minnesota, spending a lot of time outdoors, hunting and fishing and skiing on the hills on the Minnesota-Wisconsin border and water skiing on the Mississippi River near my house. And I really felt a sense of therapy in spending time outdoors.
The VA, after my injury, put me through a lot of medication, a bunch of therapists, a lot of things that weren't necessarily that great for me. He said, hey, I got this nonprofit where we take wounded veterans out hunting, fishing. He's like, I like to call it outdoor therapy.
So I launched American Heroes in Action with the idea that I wanted to provide all expenses paid, therapeutic outdoor adventures for combat veterans as well as injured firefighters.
I don't know what this is all about, but I want to give it a whirl.
It's the sensations that you get, the smells of fresh pine, the animals. I mean, just everything that goes into it. You're kind of in the moment. It's easy to get wrapped up in the day-to-day drama of social media, your family, friends, whatever's going on. But put all that aside and go out in Mother Nature. She'll let you know where you stand.
I also call it like healing, because it is healing. It's a little bit. If I could just take, get a half a day and it make you forget about what's going on in the real world, then I did my job. American Heroes did their job.
The money that comes in to American Heroes in Action ideally is going to go and support the mission of American Heroes in Action. And that mission includes therapeutic outdoor adventures, including hunting, fishing, golf, whitewater rafting, downhill skiing, via ferrata, skydiving, and more.
The hog slaughtering, those are probably the most fun hunts I've ever been on, as far as with the vets, because we go out and we find these groups of hogs in the middle of the night using thermals, and we all get in a firing line, and it literally takes you back. Like you got 10 guys standing in a line with semi-automatic weapons and just laying waste to hogs. It's a freaking riot.
It was better than any kind of pills, medication, therapy sessions, just connecting with other veterans.
My very first event, we went out to lunch. It was a goose hunt that we went on, a waterfowl hunt. And so we're all sitting around and we're having smoking and joking, just Army versus Navy jokes and Marines eating crayons and, all the good stuff.
It tastes good. It tastes all right.
Exactly. But it was one of the gentlemen at the table who said, he'd been out of the Army for 2 years. And in that 2-year time frame, he hadn't had this type of camaraderie in his life.
The adventures are therapeutic time spent outdoors, but a lot of times the camaraderie is more valuable than catching a fish or, getting splashed by cold water on a rafting trip.
Man, I'll be honest, it's trauma bonding. You get with a group of guys that have similar experiences and you just trauma bond. You don't have to talk military, but you understand each other. You go out and you get to shoot guns and, kill or whatever it is. And I don't know. It's just simple, I guess.
When they would say, hey man, I get it, they actually got it.
Yeah, it's the brotherhood, that hunting, that common bond that we all have. Yep. Yeah, you know it, I know it.
This person actually knows what I'm talking about, not saying, oh yeah, I get it. No, they actually understood what we're all going through.
Sometimes some of these men and women are going through a tough time in their life. They may be having a hard time dealing with the injuries that they sustained or PTSD. And they may meet someone on one of these trips that they really click with, and they may want to ask that person, so I'm having this situation. Have you ever had this situation, and how did you deal with it?
One time I was thinking about just calling it quits, and I reached out to my friends, and
talk to him about, what's going on, everything. And we kind of like made up a plan, and how to make sure that it won't happen. And so it's kind of hard for me to talk about that too, but I thanked him for that because he saved my life, it was just that quick to pick up the phone and call him.
So we could actually break our walls down to be able to connect with other veterans and be vulnerable, which a lot of us don't like to be. But when we're in that group, that's where we could really connect, and that's where that therapy would come in for me.
Make a circle, make a group of friends that you can reach out and talk to. And, because life is precious, live every day.